On December 26, 2004, the world watched in horror as a natural disaster of unimaginable scale unfolded. At 7:59 a.m. local time, a massive undersea earthquake, registering a staggering 9.1 on the Richter scale, ripped through the Earth's crust off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. This cataclysmic event set in motion a chain reaction that would have devastating consequences across the Indian Ocean. The earthquake, one of the most powerful ever recorded, displaced billions of tons of water, unleashing a series of monstrous waves, a tsunami. These waves, some reaching heights of over 30 feet, spread outwards from the epicenter with terrifying speed, carrying with them the potential for unimaginable destruction. Coastal communities across the Indian Ocean, from Indonesia to India, Thailand to Sri Lanka, were caught unaware as the wall of water advanced relentlessly towards their shores. The world held its breath as news of the unfolding disaster began to trickle in. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami was a stark reminder of the immense power of nature and the vulnerability of human life in the face of such forces. As the waves crashed ashore, they left behind a trail of devastation, forever etching this day in the annals of history as one of unimaginable loss and sorrow. The world mourned the loss of thousands of lives, but amidst the tragedy, stories of resilience, compassion, and the indomitable human spirit began to emerge. As the tsunami waves surged across the Indian Ocean, they made their way towards the eastern coastline of India, catching the nation entirely unprepared for the scale of the impending disaster. The first signs of the approaching catastrophe were deceptive: a sudden and dramatic recession of the sea, exposing vast stretches of the seabed that had never been visible before. This unusual phenomenon, however, was a chilling harbinger of the devastation that was to follow. Shortly after 11 a.m., the first tsunami waves crashed into the southeastern coast of India, hitting the state of Kerala. The waves, carrying with them debris and the raw power of the ocean, slammed into coastal communities, flattening homes, uprooting trees, and tossing vehicles around like toys. The tranquil morning was shattered by the roar of the ocean and the cries of those caught in its deadly embrace. The tsunami's impact was felt along the entire eastern coastline of India, but some regions bore the brunt of its fury more than others. Tamil Nadu, with its long coastline dotted with fishing villages and coastal towns, was directly in the path of the waves. The state, known for its vibrant culture and bustling economy, was about to witness a tragedy of unprecedented proportions. The tsunami's arrival marked the beginning of a long and arduous journey of recovery and rebuilding for the affected communities. Tamil Nadu, a state renowned for its ancient temples, vibrant culture, and bustling coastal towns, found itself at the heart of the tsunami's path of destruction in India. The state's long coastline, stretching over 1,000 kilometers along the Bay of Bengal, bore the full brunt of the waves, leaving behind a trail of devastation that is difficult to comprehend. The tsunami struck without warning, transforming idyllic coastal landscapes into scenes of unimaginable chaos and destruction. Among the worst-hit areas in Tamil Nadu were the coastal districts of Nagapattinam and Cuddalore. Nagapattinam, a historic port town, was completely overwhelmed by the waves, its streets transformed into raging rivers of debris and seawater. The town's fishing fleet, its lifeline, was decimated, with boats tossed ashore like driftwood or smashed to pieces against the harbour walls. Cuddalore, a major industrial centre, also suffered catastrophic damage, with entire neighbourhoods inundated and countless lives lost. The tsunami's impact on Tamil Nadu was not limited to physical destruction alone. The disaster ripped through the very fabric of society, tearing apart families and leaving behind a profound sense of loss and trauma. The fishing communities, in particular, were decimated, their livelihoods destroyed along with their homes and possessions. The tsunami's aftermath presented a monumental challenge for the state to rebuild not just its infrastructure, but also the lives and spirits of its people. While Tamil Nadu bore the brunt of the tsunami's wrath, the devastation spread far beyond its borders, leaving an indelible mark on other parts of India as well. The Union territory of Pondicherry, with its serene beaches and French colonial heritage, was caught in the path of the waves, its coastal areas inundated and infrastructure severely damaged. The tsunami's impact on Pondicherry served as a grim reminder that even the most idyllic corners of the world were not immune to the forces of nature. Kerala, known as God's own country for its lush green landscapes and tranquil backwaters, also witnessed the tsunami's destructive power. The waves struck the state's coastline, causing widespread damage to coastal communities and fishing villages. The picturesque beaches, a major tourist attraction, were scarred by the disaster, with resorts and homes along the coast reduced to rubble. The tsunami's arrival in Kerala shattered the illusion of tranquility, highlighting the vulnerability of even the most seemingly protected areas. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands, a group of islands located closer to the earthquake's epicenter, faced the full fury of the tsunami. The waves crashed ashore with terrifying force, submerging entire islands and causing widespread devastation. The islands, known for their pristine beaches and indigenous tribes, were left reeling from the disaster, with communication lines cut off and access to essential supplies severely hampered. The tsunami's impact on the Andaman and Nicobar Islands underscored the vulnerability of isolated communities in the face of such catastrophic events. Section 5. The Aftermath, a struggle for survival. In the immediate aftermath of the tsunami, a scene of unimaginable chaos and devastation unfolded across the affected regions of India. The once familiar landscapes were transformed into unrecognizable wastelands, littered with debris, shattered homes, and the grim remnants of lives lost. The air was thick with the stench of seawater, decaying matter, and the cries of those searching desperately for loved ones. The scale of the disaster was overwhelming, leaving survivors in a state of shock and disbelief. As the initial shock subsided, the urgent need for survival took over. Survivors, many of whom had lost everything, found themselves stranded amidst the rubble, their lives hanging precariously in the balance. The injured cried out for medical attention, while others, dazed and disoriented, wandered aimlessly through the wreckage, searching for familiar faces or any sign of hope. The basic necessities of life, food, water, shelter, and medical aid were in short supply, and the threat of disease loomed large. The tsunami's aftermath presented a Herculean task for the Indian government and relief agencies. The sheer scale of the disaster, coupled with the destruction of infrastructure and communication lines, made it incredibly challenging to reach those in need. The affected areas were in a state of chaos, with roads blocked, bridges washed away, and communication networks down. The race against time had begun, and the world watched as India grappled with the enormity of the task ahead: to rescue survivors, provide aid and comfort to those in need, and begin the long and arduous process of rebuilding shattered lives and communities. Section 6. A helping hand: relief efforts in the face of tragedy. As news of the tsunami's devastation spread across the globe, a wave of compassion and support poured in from all corners of the world. International aid agencies, governments, and individuals rallied together to provide assistance to the affected countries, including India. The outpouring of support was unprecedented, a testament to the shared humanity that binds us all, especially in times of crisis. In India, the government mobilized its resources, deploying the Army, Navy, and Air Force to assist with rescue and relief operations. Teams of medical personnel, engineers, and disaster relief experts were rushed to the affected areas to provide immediate assistance. Makeshift hospitals and relief camps were set up to provide medical care, food, water, and shelter to the thousands of displaced survivors. The Indian Air Force played a crucial role in airlifting supplies and evacuating those stranded in remote areas. The international community also responded swiftly, sending aid in the form of medical supplies, food, water, tents, and other essential items. International NGOs and volunteer organizations from around the world dispatched teams of doctors, nurses, engineers, and logistics experts to support the relief efforts. The collective response to the tsunami disaster was a remarkable display of global solidarity, demonstrating the power of human compassion and cooperation in the face of adversity. Section 7. Scars that remain: long-term consequences of the tsunami. While the immediate aftermath of the tsunami demanded urgent attention to rescue and relief efforts, the long-term consequences of the disaster continued to cast a long shadow over the affected regions. The tsunami's impact extended far beyond the immediate loss of life and property, leaving behind scars that would take years, if not generations, to heal. The physical and emotional toll on survivors was immeasurable, and the task of rebuilding shattered lives and communities proved to be a daunting challenge. One of the most significant long-term consequences of the tsunami was the devastating impact on the livelihoods of coastal communities. The fishing industry, a vital source of income and sustenance for millions along the Indian coast, was decimated. Boats were destroyed, fishing nets were lost or damaged, and the marine ecosystem on which the industry relied was severely disrupted. Many fishermen lost their sole means of livelihood, plunging their families into poverty and uncertainty. The tsunami also had a profound psychological impact on survivors, many of whom witnessed unimaginable horrors and suffered the loss of loved ones. The trauma of the event manifested in different ways, including post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and survivor's guilt. Children, in particular, were deeply affected by the disaster, witnessing the loss of their homes, schools, and, in some cases, even their parents and siblings. The emotional and psychological scars of the tsunami ran deep, requiring long-term support and counseling to help survivors cope with the trauma and rebuild their lives. Section 8. Learning from tragedy, strengthening disaster preparedness. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami served as a wake-up call for the world, highlighting the importance of disaster preparedness and early warning systems. The disaster exposed the vulnerabilities of countries in the Indian Ocean region, which lacked adequate early warning mechanisms and disaster preparedness plans. In the wake of the tragedy, there was a renewed focus on strengthening disaster risk reduction measures and building resilience to natural hazards. One of the most significant outcomes of the tsunami was the establishment of the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System in 2005. This system, coordinated by UNESCO's Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, aims to provide timely warnings of potential tsunamis to countries in the Indian Ocean region. The Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System comprises a network of seismographic stations, sea level sensors, and communication systems that work together to detect and monitor tsunamis and disseminate warnings to national disaster management agencies. In addition to the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System, India has also taken steps to improve its disaster preparedness at the national and local levels. The National Disaster Management Authority was established in 2005 to coordinate disaster management activities across the country. The National Disaster Management Authority has developed comprehensive disaster management plans, including specific guidelines for tsunami preparedness and response. Community-based disaster risk reduction programs have also been implemented to raise awareness among coastal communities about tsunami risks and evacuation procedures. Section 9. A legacy of resilience, remembering the victims, rebuilding the future. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami stands as a poignant reminder of the destructive power of nature and the importance of human resilience in the face of adversity. The disaster left an indelible mark on the affected regions, claiming thousands of lives, destroying homes and livelihoods, and leaving behind a profound sense of loss and grief. However, amidst the tragedy, the indomitable spirit of humanity shone through as survivors, first responders, and communities around the world came together to offer support, rebuild lives, and emerge stronger from the ashes. In the years since the tsunami, the affected regions have made remarkable progress in rebuilding their lives and communities. Homes have been reconstructed, infrastructure has been restored, and economies have slowly begun to recover. The fishing industry, though deeply impacted, has shown signs of revival, with fishermen returning to the sea, their resilience a testament to their deep connection to the ocean that sustains them. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami taught us invaluable lessons about the importance of disaster preparedness, early warning systems, and the need for global cooperation in the face of natural disasters. The tragedy also highlighted the strength of the human spirit, the power of compassion, and the enduring capacity for hope and renewal even in the darkest of times. As we move forward, it is our responsibility to honor the memory of those lost by continuing to build more resilient communities, strengthen our disaster preparedness measures, and work together to create a safer and more secure future for all.